Well, good morning, my fellow Zenites. Did you check your PulseZen wallet balance with your coffee this morning? Well, hello, everyone. Slanjivar. My name is Conor Zen, former Bitcoin Foundation member, and now evangelist for Pulse Chain, PulseZen, and all the coins that are live and active on the new Pulse Chain. Well, it's been an amazing week. I've been at home for a few days, just chilling out and relaxing. But I've decided that the weather is getting better and it's time to use the yacht once again. So I'm back on the yacht. What a tumultuous week it has been. Lots to talk about. And the first thing I need to do is to get a sound check from you guys. If you could give me a 1 in the chat to make sure that you can actually hear what I'm saying. Thank you very much. If somebody could kindly put a 1 in the chat in the comments, that would be great. Anyone? Can anybody hear me? Okay. So lots to talk about this week. The first thing I want to talk about is David Sachs, our good friend, now associated on the crypto task force, part of the SEC. They've created a new task force, moved people around, and put Hector Pierce in charge of it all, which is great news for crypto going forward. But so far, we haven't seen the benefit of this, but we will, trust me. In association with what David has said, the real interesting program is going to be a replacement of the Howey test as to what tokens are going to be classified as securities and however else other tokens are going to be classified, like shitcoins or meme coins or utility tokens. We don't know, but they are working on a new reference system, which for the Americans is great. And the reason why it's so great, I mean, at the moment we're all operating under unknowns, and a lot of normies, a lot of people who are not involved in crypto right now are put off by the whole debacle. They only know about Bitcoin, Ethereum. They don't really know about the crypto markets per se, and they certainly don't realize that they need yield. They need yield. They need interest on their money because their 401ks, any investments in the banks, even stocks and shares are just not going to cut it. PulseZen, on the other hand, was specifically designed, first launching on Ethereum and then Pulse Chain, specifically designed to give you yield, which is critically important to get that message out there. Because even at the moment, it doesn't matter whether the price is up or down right now. If you look at the numbers, we're doing about 18.6% at the moment with this very paltry volume that we see at the moment. And I emphasize the fact that we are doing 18.6% because our other competitor, X, with the instigation of the origin address, whoever controls that, some monk in Tibet, probably, they have actually staked a lot of their hex. And what is the outcome of that? What does it actually mean? Well, if I can show you, I can perhaps make it very clear and abundantly clear what is actually happening with the hex staking. So here we have it. The OA address decided for some reason, well, I know what the reason is, But you can see here on apphex.win/charts um, on Pulse Chain right now today, 95.61% is staked. And on the Ethereum blockchain, where it all started, it's staked at 94.66%. We all know who owns that. Now, what is the outcome? What is the outcome of this? Well, I can tell you what the outcome is. We are seeing that the yield produced by Hex and the T shares for new guys coming in is going to be about 4%. Yes, 4%. You know, all the marketing that we used to do for 38% APY and all that jazz, that's now gone. You might earn a bit more if you're an old guy into Hex and you've actually kept all of your Hex and your stakes over the last 4 or 5 years, then you're going to get a bit more. But presently, for new people coming into the ecosystem of Pulse Chain, what are you going to say now? The yield, which was the critical thing for Hex, and Hex is a great protocol, don't get me wrong. You still have to stake it to get the interest. But now, why are you going to bother as a newbie coming into the ecosystem for a paltry 4%? Not going to happen. So, we told you that when we introduced PulseZen, that we were going to offer the ecosystem an alternative way of getting that yield, a way that doesn't involve locking up your money for any period of time, and you get paid daily. There is no lockup, there is no staking. And that is absolutely critical. And if you look at the numbers, even right now today, where the volume has fallen off a cliff, I think we only did 2,000 in the last this morning. That's gone from over $1 million a day down to 2K. It's not good, and we need to get eyeballs on this project. Now, on Pulse Chain, PulseZen is the only protocol that is offering this sort of return. The staking by the OA has basically taken away the yield aspect of Hex for every new guy that's coming in. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but that's where we're at right now. And all those people that have put out postcards or marketing or whatever saying 38% APY, that is a lie. That's not happening anymore, unless the OA decides to emergency unstake. But if he does that, the deflationary aspect of Hex goes away and we get much more inflation. Well, this is kind of a conundrum, isn't it? Look, I hold a big, it's very, very important that you understand that anything that I talk about on this channel, you can assume that I'm invested in unless I tell you otherwise. And I still have a large bag of Hex. We need a bit more visibility and a bit more leadership for Hex. I'm sorry, Richard, but that's what is going on right now. And people have lost faith. That is not to say that in the future we're going to see the price of Hex rise. We will. At least I hope we will, because we're all going to be seriously underwater for a seriously long time if he doesn't actually execute something else, which I think he has in mind. Anyway, let me go back to the government of the United States of America because it's a very important market. Now, it's not a market that we are very much exposed to because, well, we just don't know what the regulations actually mean. And we want to make sure that what we offer is kosher and is a viable alternative to traditional finance. I mean, look, if you look around today for yield, which is the ultimate game, you're going to find out. You might think it's about a one-shot moonshot deal. It is not. That happens to a lot of people, I'm sure. Well, a few, but not many. It's a one-way ticket to losing your money investing in mem coins. It is a crazy G-Gen game. But listen, hey, if you want to play it, you might as well go on to pump.tires and actually, why don't you buy pumps? You'll be doing two things, killing two birds with one stone. One, you might actually promote pumps, PUMP pump Zen, into the stratosphere of PulseX, or even if you don't do that, every buy or sell is actually burning Pulse, which in association with the burn of PulseZen itself, which is of course deflationary, that can only be good for the ecosphere. So first things first, we're going to have a look at why and what the government is doing in the United States and how that is going to help us or not. So bear with me.
Cryptocurrency prices for several key reasons, mainly tied to economic uncertainty, risk aversion, inflation concerns, and the potential strengthening of the US dollar. Here's a deep dive into why this is happening. Tariffs, especially broad and aggressive ones, introduce economic uncertainty. Markets, including crypto, react negatively to unpredictability. When investors are uncertain about how tariffs will impact global trade, they tend to shift away from riskier assets, which includes cryptocurrencies. Risk-off behavior means funds flow out of volatile markets like crypto and into safe haven assets such as gold, US treasuries, and the US dollar. Historically, tariffs can lead to a stronger dollar, as they aim to reduce the trade deficit by making imports more expensive and boosting domestic production. A stronger dollar weakens Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies because crypto is often priced in dollars, so when the USD strengthens, it takes fewer dollars to buy BTC. Many investors view Bitcoin as an alternative to fiat currencies. When the dollar is strong, there's less demand for alternative stores of value. A strong dollar makes it more expensive for non-US investors to buy crypto. Tariffs increase the cost of imports, which leads to higher prices for goods. This is called cost-push inflation. If inflation rises too much, the Federal Reserve may respond with higher interest rates to cool down prices. Higher interest rates hurt crypto prices because institutional investors prefer low-risk, high-yield assets like government bonds when rates rise. Borrowing costs increase, leading to less speculative investment in high-volatility assets like Bitcoin. Trade wars disrupt global markets, causing capital flight from riskier investments. If businesses and investors see tariffs as harmful to global economic growth, they reduce speculative positions and hoard cash. Less liquidity in the system means fewer new inflows into crypto, which pressures prices downward. Crypto is increasingly correlated with traditional markets, especially tech stocks. Tariffs hurt global businesses, especially companies relying on supply chains. Think Tesla, Apple, and chip makers. If stock markets decline, investor sentiment often spills over into crypto, as both are seen as risk-on assets. Institutional investors selling stocks to cover losses may also sell crypto holdings, pushing prices lower. Trump's tariff threats increase economic uncertainty, strengthen the dollar, raise inflation fears, and reduce liquidity, all of which negatively impact crypto markets. As a result, investors pull back from high-risk assets, causing Bitcoin and altcoins to drop in price. Until there's clarity on trade policies, crypto may continue to face downward pressure from these macroeconomic forces. Would you like a more detailed?
Yeah, we would like to understand a little bit more about this. Very simply, you don't have to be involved in macroeconomics. You don't need to understand anything but this. When people are liquidated, when they withdraw their money from the crypto markets, prices are going down across the board. I mean, listen, last Monday we had over $2 billion removed from the market. So it is no wonder that all of crypto is down. Now, have we reached the bottom? Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows the real truth about this. But the signs are extremely positive. We've got the government trying to get crypto legislation in place. It's not going to come along very quickly, but I'm pretty sure that by June of this year, in the United States of America, we're going to have a pretty solid foundation for cryptocurrencies, which is going to open up the market for normies enormously. All of a sudden, our crypto, used by drug lords and criminals around the world and arms dealers, suddenly will become a legitimate investment. Look, I think the market today is about $3.35 trillion. Now, that pales into insignificance when you're comparing it to the M2, the amount of fiat money that is absolutely, enormous. This fiat money outweighs crypto money by tens times, tens and tens and tens more fiat currency than there is actually in the crypto market. However, one thing to really file away is this. Last week, and I think I tweeted about this, the Federal Reserve actually laid out their roadmap for the rest of the year. And for crypto specifically, that is fantastic news because you will see, and if you sort of Google it, you will find references to the fact that we've got about 3.35 trillion in crypto markets right now. And I think Bitcoin is at about 54% dominance level. However, that figure is likely to rise to about $20 trillion from 3.35 to 20 trillion. You do the maths. Just on that alone, the figures are exponentially unbelievable. What is going to happen to the crypto market specifically in United States? Now, of course, that will flow through to all crypto markets everywhere because they also do not want to be left behind. So this is fantastic bullish news, and it's certainly not priced into the markets whatsoever. Markets are short-term focused on trying to decode what President Trump is trying to do with the economy. And so far, everyone is a little bit baffled, me included. But we will likely to see more clarity going forward this week, a little bit more. We're going to see the SEC really coming to the fore and laying out a roadmap. Now, coupled with the fact that the hex interest for now has gone away, let me just reiterate again what it is that PulseZen is coded to do. It can't be stopped. It's going to do it forever, whether you sell or not. This is going to be the protocol on Pulse Chain, and with the upgrade that's coming through on Ethereum. I mean, look, the price of Ethereum for gas for transactions have come down enormously. And if you pick the right time of day, they're almost as well, they're not as cheap as Pulse Chain, of course, but they are significantly lower than they used to be. So the idea of PulseZen pricing wise being at parity becomes a distinct possibility. But let me show you again the magic of PulseZen.
The power of PulseZen is in the compounding interest code. Let's look at today's numbers. 1 million PulseZen at $0.0005. It would cost $500. The daily pay it forward code can average for the year 500 PulseZen per 1 million held. So you are making about 25 cents a day, or $91 or so a year. So that works out to a very nice 18.2% a year, no staking, no lockup. However, if we allow ourselves to imagine the growth in PulseZen, imagine daily volume increases, and price is 30 cents. Everything looks shockingly different. The daily PIF is now $120 a day, at 30 cents per PulseZen. That generates compounding rewards of about $43,800 a year, which is a staggering 1,460% APY. Go see for yourself at pulsezen.app.
Now, we haven't as yet been able to do what we want to do, whereas we have a button and you click it, it'll go from credit card to PulseZen in just 2 mouse clicks. But we're getting close, and the regulatory environment to allow that to happen is going to come along. But right now, it's still pretty easy. I mean, if you're a new guy into crypto, if you're trying to get other people involved in PulseZen, they can do it in a few mouse clicks. It's very, very easy. The first thing they've got to understand is self-custody. So they need to create a wallet. And of course, that creates private keys. That is the most important thing. They must understand that they're controlling their own money. They're not involved with anybody else. It's just them interacting with the blockchain if they so choose to do. Don't forget, of course, once they've installed that wallet, be it MetaMask or any other wallet, they need to protect their keys with a hardware device. I'm not going to call it a wallet because that gets a bit confusing, but they need to have a hardware device to protect themselves, be it a Trezor or a Ledger. Okay. So if you're talking to your mates, your friends, colleagues, trying to get them to understand what this is all about, why it's the highest appreciating asset class that there is, why yield is critically important going forward, then bring in the idea of protecting themselves with a hardware device. Now, so far, okay, all they've had to do is set up a wallet. They can do it on their mobile phone. Don't actually recommend that, but they can. And then what they can do to get PulseZen right now is just go to two websites after they've set up their wallet. Let me just show you.
So here is what you're going to do. You're going to install a wallet like MetaMask as shown here, and you are going to fund this wallet with some kind of currency. I suggest you use Ethereum to begin with, or USDC. And then once you've funded your wallet, you can head over to pzen.digital. And here, whatever coin that you've funded your wallet with, in this case DAI, we're going to buy Pulse on the cryptocurrency exchange PulseZen. And this is going to allow you to swap your DAI that you purchased through your credit card or Revolut or MetaMask or whatever, and it'll allow you to buy Pulse. It's a very simple process, and it's going to go to the second stage. It's called the stepper. This is going to show you what you are going to receive, and you simply enter in your wallet address as the recipient of the PLS that you're going to buy in the first place. Once you've done that, the system takes place and off we go. You'll see at the bottom of the screen, you'll see awaiting payment, that goes green eventually, waiting for exchange, that goes green. And then finally, once all that has been processed, the funds are sent to your wallet. And essentially, you end up with PLS in your wallet. Now, in order to see the PLS, you of course need to be on PulseChain. So you're going to change the settings and add a network PulseChain to your wallet so you can see your pulse. The final step is to head over to the app.proteus.io and simply swap your PLS for PulseZen, PZen. It's as simple as that.
So there you have it. Talking to your friends or colleagues about PulseZen, this is the video you need to show them. Yeah, it's just, a 10-minute setup, and they will be involved in the highest appreciating asset class that there ever has been, cryptocurrency. But there's more, as they say. Sanjivar, everybody. We know that the Hex OA has kind of changed the game a little bit this week. But there's something else that we've done to really get people excited. And that is the fact that we know that Ethereum, through the next upgrade, is likely to reduce the price of gas even more than it has been over the last couple of months. So, as a liquidity provider on Ethereum, you get rewarded with what's known as a PLP token. Now, some people have said, well, can I sell my PLP token? Well, that's not the idea. Having the PLP token in your wallet means that represents your liquidity position within the ecosystem. So say, for example, you put in DAI and PulseZen as the pool, then you will get out PLP tokens which represent your holding. So you can't really do anything with it except when you want to retrieve your liquidity. You then exchange your PLP for the liquidity that you provided in the first place, and hopefully you'll get some fees and hopefully not suffer from impermanent loss. But we thought about this. We thought, well, what can we do, first of all, on Ethereum to make it worthwhile for new investors coming in? Because let's face it, as much as we would like Pulse Chain to be the number one chain, it isn't by a long shot. And I don't just mean by the numbers, I mean by people's perception of it, people's understanding, people even hearing of Pulse Chain. They are going to hear of Ethereum. They're unlikely to hear about Pulse Chain so far. So let's start off with Ethereum. Now, this is not for new guys, but what else are you going to do with your PLP? Let's say you create a pool on Uniswap of USDC to PulseZen. Now, okay, so this pool is already created, so you will just join that pool. That's probably the easiest way. So here's what you can do with your PLP tokens that represent your liquidity in Uniswap. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody at all on Uniswap with their PLP tokens. And this is what happens or can
Okay,
happen.
so we're talking about PulseZen rewards for liquidity providers. And of course, the first thing you'll have to do is be a liquidity provider. So you do that on Uniswap and you select pool and you're going to use PulseZen and USDC. You're creating your liquidity position in that marketplace. Now, make sure that you have PulseZen selected. If it's not showing up, you have to add it to the contract from the Etherscan, which will tell you what the contract address is. And you simply click add and you'll be a part of liquidity providing fraternity once you've done that. Now, what you're going to do is the Uniswap system gives you Uniswap tokens. And if they're not showing up in your MetaMask wallet like they should do, head over to where the Uniswap pool is, that is the PZen and USDC pair, and you'll get the contract address, which is over here. It ends in 42 alpha, and you will add those to your MetaMask. So those are the tokens that you're going to actually deposit on the PulseZen reward site. And here it is. Let me just disconnect this wallet and then we can see the whole system right from the beginning. So here we are. This is the PulseZen rewards. So what are we solving here? Well, the issue is that once you become a liquidity provider on Uniswap, yes, you get your transaction fees, but you lose out a little bit on the fact that you don't get automatically rewarded by holding Pulse Chain in your wallet. That doesn't work that way. So now we are going to make liquidity providers the kingpins of this whole ecosystem because you are going to be rewarded handsomely as well as getting the transaction fees. So the URL you need to head over to is pulsezenrewards.com, and this is the site. The first thing we need to do is connect our wallet. So we click connect. I'm using a MetaMask wallet at the moment. And we're connected. You can see that up here. Just going to hide the address, of course. This is a test, but nevertheless. And here we have the rewards pools. There are 3 pools that you could possibly choose from. And you can see the details of each pool here. You can see that for locking up your LP tokens for 1 month, you're going to earn a hefty 18% APY. And if that's not good enough, if you lock up your money for 3 months, you lock up your LP tokens for 3 months, you're going to earn 22% APY. And then for those of you who are really professional investors, a 6-month lockup of your LP tokens will give you 25% APY. Now, it's important to note that you're depositing the LP tokens and the rewards will be given to you in PulseZic, PZIC totals, or the PZINC token, which is the PulseZen incentive coin. Now, how does that work? Well, you'll get your percentage
in the PZIC coin, which you'll go onto PulseZen app and add to your MetaMask wallet, so you get the nice little pictures. And then when the time comes to redeem your rewards, you can, of course, keep them and just take the interest. But if you wanted to take the whole shebang, you could actually take your Pulse Zinc and swap it directly for PulseZen. And that's how you achieve your 18%. But of course, the whole thing here is to be a long-term holder, actually growing the ecosystem for your long-term benefit. But anyway, there's a trick to withdrawing or claiming. So say we're very happy with what's going on and we don't actually want to withdraw our liquidity tokens, then we can just hit claim reward. Now, it's not going to work here because the money's locked up for 30 days, so it just says the execution is reverted. But by claiming rewards, you'll get the PZIC in your wallet, but the PLP that you previously deposit remains in the system without you having to re-enter the LP tokens, and it can just keep generating you income as long as you like. But if you are starting off on the 1 month system, you can withdraw and start again on the 3 or maybe 6 month system if you want to do it that way. There are some other things on the page. This is your activity. This shows you what you've done. And here we have the Ecosphere. These are contracts that you might want to use. And over here we've got the shopping, which is coming soon for merchandise. This is the PulseZen app website. This is the link to the contract for PZen, just so you can double check on the Ethereum chain. This is the PulseZen contract on Pulse chain. Over here is the PZIC ETH contract, which is the only one that you're interested in the moment, because the liquidity providers are PulseZen and USDC on the Ethereum blockchain. Later on, we'll maybe have the Pulse chain. Here we have PulseZen from Pulse chain. And here we have PulseZen from Ethereum. Don't forget this magnificent system where you can impart value on both chains by continually swapping between two chains. I'm not just talking about bridging. There's actually marketplaces on either chain for the comparative PulseZen from Pulse chain and PulseZen from Ethereum. It's a fantastic system, which a lot of you don't realize is actually there. There's just a little bit of an introduction video, and then, of course, the latest price chart of PulseZen to USDC. So there we have it. In a nutshell, this is the fabulous PulseZen rewards system. It's open. If you can see this video, it's available for you right now. Remember, you have to be a liquidity provider on Uniswap in the PulseZen USDC pairing. Bring over those tokens, put them in your wallet if you haven't got them already, and then bring them over to the PulseZen reward system. It's very likely that it'll be a very small number, and you can see here that somebody's actually deposited 0.6 and a 1 of your Uniswap tokens. And this is because of the Uniswap system. They actually throw out very small numbers for their liquidity positions, unless you happen to own a lot of liquidity, of course. And that's it. That's the introduction. This is a fantastic reward system that was previously in the cupboard. We brought it out because people may want to use it. And of course, what is this going to do? It's going to grow the entire ecosystem for everybody and everybody that's involved. So it just keeps rolling on and rolling on and rolling on. This, again, is a system that is going to last now forever. It's built on a blockchain. Contract is already up. The contract, of course, has been audited, and you can see the audit later on. And there we have it. An amazing system. One of the things that I found in the cupboard, there are some more things in the cupboard that I think you might be interested in coming forward in the next few months. One of them, I know you'll be interested in to know whether we're going to be launching on Pulse Chain, and the answer to that is maybe. There are some issues with Pulse Chain, remarkably, that we did not anticipate, and so therefore we're doing it on Ethereum because Ethereum is the most widely known chain. If you ask anybody who's involved in crypto, apart from those in the know, nobody has even heard of Pulse Chain. And of course, with all the debacle going on, it may be not the idea to launch right this moment in time. But on Ethereum, the well-established chain that we are also part of, that's why we are launching here. Wow, what a fantastic system, even if I do say so myself. Now, that wasn't for newbies. If you are just looking into the crypto game, or if you've only just started investing in crypto, then do your homework very carefully. Look, I'm not here to tell you, I'm not here to push you into any particular coin, but you will realize eventually that what you need is not gambling. You need yield. And you need a protocol that is going to stand the test of time. Look, let me just have a quick drum. I've been telling people about cryptocurrency since 2012 when I became an ambassador for Bitcoin and joined the Bitcoin Foundation. So I know how hard it is to convince people from traditional finance to get involved in decentralized finance because they just cannot grasp the concept. But you really have to do your own research. And one thing I can tell you is that PulseZen is going to become the de facto protocol both on Ethereum and Pulse chain. And who knows what other chains in the future. What is most important that the project that you go into, you must have done your research. Who created it? Who are the team? Who is the founder? Those questions are absolutely critical, and you need to find out their bona fides as well. I mean, look, there are just too many scams out there to, it is mind-boggling how people are using crypto to just rip you off totally, when it should be completely the opposite. I guarantee you, all of you out there who have not yet invested in PulseZen, you will. And of course, the ones that are already invested, you are going to become the old guys. You're going to become the richest people in PulseZen. The people who get in the earliest, we know they always make the most amount of money. That is rule number one in crypto. So yeah, I'm extremely bullish. What with what's going on in the United States, we know that we are the protocol that introduces yield without lockup or staking. We know that our competitor Hex has kind of lost their edge at the moment on that front. So I would suggest anybody who is looking at Hex as a way of producing yield, maybe you should start putting some money in PulseZen. I'm not saying sell your Hex, but I'm just saying look at the alternatives that are available to you. I'm sure Richard Hart won't mind me saying this because we're both of the same ilk. We have both made it. And all I'm interested in now is to make you richer. We want more millionaires in the world. We want to share our ethos. The more money you make, the more money you'll be able to give away. And this movement just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Look, we need all the help we can get, because, at the moment, governments have proved time and time again, they're not working for you. They're working against you. They're not trying to make you rich. They're trying to take your money. It's just an amazingly stupid system that we've been working under for hundreds of years. Now, at this confluence of history, we have the motivation and we have, more importantly, the technology to take us out of this rat race. You just have to do a little bit of research and then join in. So that's my little broadcast for today. Very quickly, do a few shout outs to people. I'd like to shout out everyone that's come to the fore and come online today. Thank you very much. I'm going to try and do a better job of promoting these live streams, well, doing the live streams for a start. Let's just whiz through the comments. Okay. DR says, thanks for making another stream. You're welcome. I think I'll do more in the future. Zero Senite, very big guy in the PulseZen community. Thanks for streaming, Conrad. I hope you and yours are well. We are. Thank you very much. Zenite says, what's your take on the market? When will participants realize PZen was made to save them? Well, look, you can lead a horse to water and all that jazz, but eventually the truth will out. I'm absolutely sure of that. Who else have we got? Alt Season. Hello, Conrad. We can hear you loud and clear. Thanks very much. Has PulseZen bottomed? Well, I don't control the markets. Like I say, I can only give the information that people need to know, and then it's up to them. I mean, all this, nonsense about world economics, macroeconomics, and all that jazz, it just boils down to one thing. You need more buyers than sellers, price goes up. End of story. And it seems to me most people are not in control in their brains. And when they see green candles, they buy. So we need more green candles and then they'll buy. That isn't true, by the way. You shouldn't do that. You should buy when there are red candles. Red candles means buy, but it doesn't really matter whether it's green or red because PulseZen pays you for every single transaction. Let's see a few more. I can't see all the comments. I'm very, very sorry about that. Don't recognize his name. Oh, Pumpkin Owl. Hello, fam. Definitely. D'Artagnan 8. Nice to see you again. Hello, world. Um, any burning questions? So, Pumpkin Owl says, are we able to see our rankings on Pulse Chain PZen? Yes, you can. There is a website called pzenrankings.com, pzenrankings.com. And not only can you see your position on both the Ethereum and Pulse chain, our little guru there will be able to answer all your questions about PulseZen and tell you where you are in the ecosystem and what you can do to improve your ranking. Bit of fun, but very important. This is from KBM5679. What's your take on the SEC case? Well, there's three outcomes. Judge Carroll is either going to say, I'm not taking this forward because everything is changing, the sand is shifting beneath my feet, and I think I don't want anything to do with it. Therefore, the SEC haven't proved enough of any hint of wrongdoing, therefore, case dismissed. Obviously, this is the jurisdiction. So that is very specific. Case law is very specific. So it may or may not be dismissed on those grounds. However, if it isn't, the next stage will be settlement. A agreement could be made between the two parties, and the case could be closed in that way. Or number three, Judge Carroll decides, yes, there is more to this than meets the eye. We need to investigate further. Therefore, we have a court case. Personally, I think the end result of that will be that Richard Hart will also be vindicated. Certainly hope so. I certainly hope I haven't thrown away 5 years of my life to a scammer. And I'm pretty sure he's not a scammer. He wasn't very kind to me at the beginning, but that's okay because the people that he was listening to at the time had very loud but very silly voices, hence all the FUD. And Richard wasn't really appraised of the situation, so I can't really blame him. William Peterson, sorry, I hope I answered your question, by the way. It's either this or this. We don't know. What is for sure, though, is Pulse Chain cannot be stopped. It cannot be halted. It will continue. There are enough clever, smart people around who will make this protocol still exist in 100 years' time. That you can count on. William Peterson, how do we get more eyes on PulseZen? We need green arrows for people to feel comfortable to invest. Yeah, initially, I think people who don't do any homework and they're just getting into it the first time, the first thing they look at is a chart where there's green arrows. Of course, there's far more to it than that. How do we get more eyes? Well, there's over 100 of you here on this channel. There's more on the other channel. If each one of you was to tell another person and they invested, wow, I mean, it's word of mouth. That is the ultimate marketing game, as we all know. So it's just a matter of you talking about it. It's a matter of you explaining to newbies that yield is the most important thing. We're not gamblers. We're not gambling on crypto. There's enough gambling games that there is. If you want to gamble, go to pump.tires. That'll fulfill your dopamine hit. Don't forget to buy PulseZen because that's going to help everybody. Who we have here? Pumpkin Owl. PulseZen should sell itself once we get clarity. Yeah, hopefully people will be able to see what exactly is going on. It's what smart money wants, that is for sure. And everybody's going to realize that yield is the name of the game. That is sure. Okay. Mr. Vinny says, Celsius Coons. Well, I'll just say Slanjivar to that. What is this now? Oh, please don't send any money. What happened here? Alt season. Okay. Alt season has sent £5 to the marketing fund. We need more eyes on PulseZen. I see posts on Twitter, but they don't seem to be breaking through. We need green candles when everything is lava. Well, that is an interesting statement because, well, let's just have a look at what we have going on today. For example, if we have a look at gopulse.com, if I can show that here. Now, I think you'll find that we're up today on several sites. We're in the green, but here is GoPulse, which is showing you all of Richard Hart's core coins. Pulse is down 1%, but it's less than half what the sacrifice was, the sacrifice price. PulseX is also down 2.42%. Inc is down 3.22%. Hex, sadly, is down another 2.62%. I know that we were up last week, but this is not good, and it's a very bad optic to see this. However, in contrast, here is PulseZen, and you can see on Marias. Thank you very much, Ivan. You've done a great job. We're at 14.37% with a paltry 1.7K of volume. Imagine if we went back to $1 million in volume. And that's all a matter of you guys and girls actually telling everybody about PulseZen. I'm doing as much as I can, but there's thousands of you out there who hold PulseZen. If just a small percentage of you were to bring in a new investor, it just snowballs. I mean, I've been saying that for a long time, but it really would. Excuse me. So 14%, that's not bad, is it? Let's keep going for a few seconds. Mr. Vinny has a bad hangover. Absolutely. What have we got? Okay, so KBM 5679. I can only buy Pulse and there's no farming. You don't have to farm KBM 5679. The whole idea of the protocol is that the coding is such that you just buy it and it pays you. You'll get more PulseZen in your wallet every single day just by holding the coin. You don't have to go to a farm. You don't have to stake it. You don't have to lock it up. It's going to pay you automatically. Now, that's not saying that if you want to earn more, you could do the farming on Ethereum, as I just showed you with your PLP tokens. So, we've tried to get as much as we can going. How much API? Well, on the PulseZen rewards, I think it's about 28%, plus the price appreciation of the coin, of course. Green candles are needed. When people see green, they will buy. They will see how the protocol works, then they'll buy more. Well, yeah, that is the standard thinking, but There are some smart people out there. All right, I'm going to have to wrap this up. It's going on far too long. I'll just say hello to David St. Patrick. What do you think of Plan B declaring his use of BTC ETF versus self-custody? Well, Plan B has been very wrong in the past, and his predictions are a little bit off. That's all I can say. With BTC specifically, you can't earn yield if you self-custody. So being in an ETF or giving your coins to somebody else in exchange for making a paltry bit of interest is your only option. Look, let's face it. If you just take BTC at a price of $100,000 a coin, if BTC goes to $200,000 a coin, which I doubt it, by the way, you will only ever double your money. If you put the same $100,000 into PulseZen, oh my God, just imagine the return that you would get on that. So my answer to that is, yeah, he's got a point, but he's myopic and only really is interested in his bag of should be PulseZen, BTC. We'll meet the challenge onboarding. Okay. So KBM 569, I got how much it paid, please. Let's say 1 million PZN. You're proportionally going to be paid depending on how much of the pool that you own. So it's a variable figure. Now, if you use PulseZen rewards, it's a standard 28%. All right, everybody. I think that's long enough for a stream on a Sunday afternoon at very short notice. Thank you all. Big shout out to all the PulseZen holders. Big shout out to all the future holders. PulseZen is going to be the de facto protocol both on Ethereum and PulseZen, but I'm not telling you to buy it or do anything. I'm just explaining what is available to you, the highest appreciating asset class that there is out there. So I will say Slanjivar, everyone. Thanks very much for joining. And we'll see each other again. I'm sure next week we'll also have incredible stories about crypto. And I will be back this time next Sunday. Thank you very much and good night.